Aubrey, take us away.
Okie dokie. Happy Friday, everyone. Not many updates for the week. Just a reminder to all the teams, if you want to share a rose, a thorn, something you're proud of, something you learned, love to share. And as we go around, just remind us what form you're working on and tell us what's going on. Ryan, I see you first.
So Rose for this week was getting in touch with our SME finally and asking her our very pressing questions. She had some answers for two of our biggest questions, which was really good. So we've been just trying to implement the changes that she said we should, or like try to restructure our interview in the way that she said would make more sense. And then she has like 3 or 4 other smaller questions that she's reaching out to someone else who might have answers on. And then she said she was going to get back to us with those. So hopefully we should have all of our SME stuff done. I'm assuming by like mid next week, depending on how long it takes her to get back with those other answers, but made some good progress and hopefully finishing off the rest of the bigger changes that, she said we should put in for this week.
Awesome. I know that you really needed your SME to kind of guide the rest of your build, so that is huge. I'm really glad, and glad you're getting 2 people on there. So.
And you're doing complaint for paternity, is that right?
Sorry, yeah, I should have said that. I'm doing, we're working on juvenile name change.
Oh, you're doing the name change with Abby, right? Okay, yeah, okay, good.
But great layup, Caroline. Why don't we go to our complaint for paternity team, which I think is Kajal and Shauna, if my memory serves me.
Yes, so we are the complaint for paternity. We're just still working on our issues and removing and adding things our SME told us to do. So I think we'll be hitting our deadline for next week with you, Aubrey, for our meeting. So yeah.
Great. And share if everyone, we just kind of set like a milestone personal deadline to incorporate their SME work and maybe do a second round of demo build to see how close to MVP they are. So awesome. Joelle, how are you doing?
Hi guys, I'm doing good. Hopefully I was thinking if next Friday I could demo the pretrial housing memo that I'm working on, because I do want to get that out there and done. Also, thank you to Ryan and Donna. I talked to them about taking a look at their code because I was having trouble with my contingent questions for the older form that I'm working on with Shauna, the DA case integrity review form. So thank you guys for letting me take a look at that, because that did help me. So I do have slight updates to add to that old form with Shauna.
Awesome. I'm very proud of everyone sharing their code and they're working through that problem together. So great work, team. Catherine and Anna, how are you 2 doing?
We're doing good. We met recently just to kind of go over the docx and figure out variables and everything. Anna has really good questions that I can't answer. So we're gonna have to meet with someone about that. And then probably start working on running it through the Weaver, I think. But that's part of why we want to, meet with someone to kind of look over what we've done and everything. And then with the consumer default that I've been working on, I'm going to steal Regis's Good News Friday because I got it working and I was able to update it, I guess, to the newest package that it pulls. And then there was 2 problems I actually figured out on my own, which is very exciting. So I think it's almost done, but I'll probably need someone to again look it over and tell me if that's correct. And that's all.
Yeah, awesome. So Catherine converted an interview from last summer to the most updated package of assembly line stuff, which is kind of a challenging task, and she really persevered through that. So great job, Catherine, and awesome work with your team getting through and building it right from the start. We will get together on Monday and really work through a lot of that. So fantastic. And just Catherine, the one thing that with the consumer debt, we were having the issue with the timeout. Did you throw that in the channel?
Not yet. I will.
Okay, awesome. I'll look out for that. Regis, how are you doing?
Pretty good. My good news Friday was actually more of a good news Thursday. So that was a fun little early gift to myself. The question that I had in the coding help channel regarding the late docketing statement doc upload preview page seems to be tenuously resolved. I haven't really tested it with intensity, but just like a couple of pass throughs, and it seems to be working well. So the issue was if you went to add another document on that page, it produced an error. But Lily helped me out in the coding help channel, so that was amazing. And then for the jury instruction project, Michelle was a huge help. And things are looking very, very good on that front. So a lot of exciting progress this week.
Fantastic.
Question,
Well,
Regis, a question. Are you on Twitter?
Yeah.
I'm going to send you a tweet relevant to your work by way of the fact that it's from the person we're doing it for, who was looking for a law student. So maybe do a quick thing.
Okay.
Sorry, everyone else had to hear that.
well, they can read the tweet too, but or find some great
I'll
people to
put
follow
the
on
tweet.
Twitter.
You know what? I'll put the tweet right in the assembly line channel because any of you would be qualified to answer it. So it's a race. It may have already gotten the answer.
Awesome. And then we can all find each other on Twitter. Fantastic. Great. And oh, Regis, just an update from the back and forth they were having in the appeals channel. That code block that I said produced an error was a personal error, and I think you can use it if you would like to. And we'll talk more in the appeals meeting about what the appeals court likes, etc. But I take back that it was an error. It was a personal problem. All right, Caroline, you teased in the channel that you had some updates for us. Do you want to share now?
Did you say I teased in the channel?
Yeah, I think you said you're going to have some updates for us, so I'm pretty excited.
Oh, did I do? When did I do that? Last 24 hours? Oh dear. Okay, so I'm not.
This morning.
Oh my God. All right. Well, I think it was just that we've translated. Oh, shit, I don't know what they are, but I think I just wanted to check with Quentin that I've translated. I didn't translate. I'm not sure I sent the translation, the translated interviews to you. We've sent the Vietnamese and the Chinese off to ATASK to review, but the Portuguese and Spanish ones, I don't think you have, do you?
No, I mean, I hadn't thought about taking that on, but I definitely can.
Oh, you don't have to take it on. So, am I supposed to do that?
I don't know. I think I probably, I should at least do cross training of whoever does want to work on it.
Okay.
So,
All right. Okay.
yeah.
All right. All right. Anyway, we have them all. We've had them all back for a while. I got the Vietnamese and Chinese sent off to ATASK right away, but I guess we got to figure out who's gonna do the update, the other thing. God. All right. And so then I did get a chance. Aubrey, you're working with Eleni on the 209A flow, right? So I looked at that this morning, and I love the PDF. That really makes it so much easier to read than this. I know ultimately it's good to use a spreadsheet but there are a couple of things I think we should clarify. And I mean, it may be that I wasn't reading it correctly, but I think there's some missing kick out places. And I don't know the best way. I'd rather just talk to you guys and you have the spreadsheet open, we share it. So, but I didn't get a chance to email you, to message you about that. So I think that's where we are. And if I said something about updates, I don't know what
No.
they are.
That was it, Caroline. I think it was about the language, Portuguese
okay.
and Spanish.
All right.
And I just also full credit to Eleni on the PDF. She took charge with that and did a great job. So
Yeah, it really
props
is.
to
It's
Eleni.
great. I mean, if you're gonna look at something really quickly, it's a lot easier to see that. And Maeve used we were using something like that in flowcharts in the beginning of the project, and they are really helpful. Even if you use them when you're developing a complete, I don't think you need them for a lot of the interviews, but for interviews where you have kickout screens, I think they're really helpful. But again, it's another thing that you have to learn, and if you don't think visually, it's a little bit of a challenge. But I think for people, they might be a good thing for people who are working with SMEs where the interview is somewhat complex. It might be something to think about.
Yeah, Eleni, why don't we put that in the channel, and for anybody who's interested in looking at it, they can see what you built, and you might become our resident flowcharts me.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing I'm thinking is because since we did the 209A, we've had a couple more interviews because we're going back to this thinking about partly this variable user, but also partly I think originally we started off with these interviews really being focused on pro se litigants. And now I think we're thinking, can we make them useful to advocates? And so we're changing the flow, because from the very beginning, you have to say, are you the person who's going to be using this, or are you helping someone else? And that adds a layer of complexity. So if we could do similar things with these flows. People could share the beginning, what's going to happen that way. And that would be much easier it's complicated to think through, and people shouldn't have to think through it over and over again when if we have figured out a good way to do it. So that's me, sorry.
No, right on. So I agree. We'll share that in the channel so everyone can look at it. And also, just as a note, Eleni made it into a PDF so that it's easy to look at, but I think the plan is also to maintain it as a Microsoft Word tool so that it can be edited and develop as it goes on. So if you add a whole new flow, you can still edit it and just look at it as a PDF.
And you might have a look at the tool Maeve did, which was a Google something or other. I don't remember, but we might go back. People might find that easier. Maybe not, but
Okay.
it's something to evaluate.
Perfect. Thank you, Caroline. Eleni, do you want to give us a full update since you're the talk of the town?
Sure. I also dropped both of the Word documents and the PDF of the 209A flowchart in the Google folder for the 209A. There's like a specific folder for flowcharts made for the 209A. So I dropped both of those in there. I also just sent the PDF to the main channel. Also related to the 209A, I started making some scenarios, which Aubrey reviewed this morning. So I'll make some more scenarios that target more things. And that's pretty much it for the 209A form. I was also doing some plain language edits from the grab bag. So I did the reinstatement of tenancy, which Quentin is working on with me. And I don't know who the SME is for the service by all means and diligent search, but I went through it. There were only 2 edits that I made. I committed it to a new plain language edit branch in that GitHub. So yeah, that's pretty much it from me.
Can we, I don't remember if Kate was doing the SME for that, or also that alternative service. We were working really intensively on that one, on Mass Legal Help, and I was working with Katie Milton and Jeff Wolf. So maybe I can, if we've got SME questions or we need another SME review, we can go by them, because it was actually sort of like this cluster of SMEs, because people have different experiences in different courts. So it's hard to have anything too much hard and fast SME answers, because because it's different in different courts. So I'm happy to just grab me somehow and get my attention, and then I'll figure out who to ask about which questions, depending on what the questions are.
Yeah, they're just plain language edits, like for example.
Well, that would be me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just reopened an issue you had on the reinstatement of tenancy.
Okay, great. And I also still talk to the original author of that one. So if we need to know who worked on it with them last semester, we can. I talked to you, Lileni, and then I remember that I actually talked to the person who wrote that one. So
which one are you talking about, Aubrey?
The alternate means of diligent search.
Okay, good.
Valerie worked on last semester. She's graduated, but I think she'd be willing to tell us what she knows. And Michelle, How do you have anything going on?
I got some good feedback on testing reports, which was really useful. Implemented some of those. I was wondering, Quentin, you made the tool for checking the translations. I had at least one other suggestion for common things to look for in your Mako in the translation files. And I don't know, but I didn't know like how under development that was. I can just make a PR. It's like one line or something like that, but I didn't know if it was up for,
Yeah, go for it. I mean,
that kind of thing.
I made it just to be, yeah, go ahead and make a PR.
No, I think the ones you
I'm not
wrote on
working on
there
it.
were excellent. I just thought of another one that I saw very commonly. That's all.
Did we talk about this in any of our meetings? Because Quentin, I saw your comments on it, but I sort of feel like I missed a couple of conversations about it. So it may be I just need a little tutorial, like I get the concept, but that's about all.
No, so I mean, I just have now loaded in enough translation files to know that the translators always make mistakes. So
Yeah.
But the way that you normally find those mistakes is by running through the whole interview screen by screen until you trigger it. So I just wrote a little script that just helps find some of the errors in one batch. So you don't have to do that. Or at least so you can save a lot of time and pain, because it's also really annoying to have to upload the new translation file.
Yeah.
The more errors you can find in advance, the better.
So I could, anybody who's doing, I don't know if anybody else is doing translated files, but that maybe would be folded into a tutorial on translation files.
Hopefully. Yeah. And Michelle also has experience because she helped me test the translations for Made last round that we did.
Oh, okay. So maybe
That
we
was
guys can, and anybody else who's interested could get together to do something like that.
Yeah, we
also,
could do all the steps because it's like, and that's why I don't mind doing it, because now it's down a little bit more to a science, but it'll be good for more people to know how to do it too.
Yeah. And also when you say it's on the server dashboard, I'm thinking, what? What server dashboards? I really don't know what. I've been so out of it, so I don't know.
Well, probably a lot of people don't know what that is.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is definitely like brand new stuff that Quentin has added within the past 2 or 3 weeks.
I'll show people that brief. I bet we'll have it on recording for other people in the future. So the dashboard is this. On your menu, you should see this dashboard link. You won't be able to use all the tools, but I think everyone should see the link now.
Even if you're a developer, or is it only admins?
I actually just noticed it wasn't available to developers, and I made it available yesterday. So hopefully the right version of that's installed for everybody. And then they're just various little shortcut things that I've had to do a bunch. So I'm like, let me write a script to do that more effectively. And the new one is this validate translation files. It's not that robust yet, but it just is like helpful. And something a lot of people might want to do is update packages, for example. That probably comes up a lot. I know Aubrey, I showed how to use that.
Would that be, what server, is this this is the test server, right? So update your packages on the test, okay. Oh, that's great, yeah.
It's on both though. So it's on the dev server too.
Okay, and then the update packages, I forgot what I was gonna, oh yeah, does it give you get to pick which packages you want to update?
Yeah, the big advantage is just like it lets you see them and update them all at once instead of clicking one by one. So this is all of the packages installed on the server that are DocAssembly packages. And I can just click an update button and it will do them all.
All right.
It's slow, but you can do it.
Okay.
That's what that is, just so for the context.
That's cool.
Cool.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no,
yes. So, other stuff, I don't know. People making good progress. You and I went over the testing setup, and I'm going to make a PR for you to review soon with changes made based on that. Not all of them ones you like listed, but some things that I noticed and like rethought how to organize. and as well as some of the things we listed. And yes, I think those
Are you going to have office hours today, Michelle?
Yes, I will have office hours today, starting at 2. The regular office hours. Had a few extra office hours this morning. You know, it happens.
I
Just
caught the
fall in
extra
there
office
now
hours.
and then. Yeah. All right.
Awesome. Thank you, Michelle. And
Sure.
Quentin, since you were recently unmuted, did you have anything else to share?
The only other thing, just to give people an update on, is the new exhibit class. I think it's actually probably useful enough for people to start using now. There's some things that the appeals court forms had that it does not. Specifically, it doesn't do reordering your pages. It doesn't do the OCR. It doesn't do background processing or adding page numbers. But I think I can just add those in a way that if people wanted to use it, if you have a form that needs to have some data uploaded, I encourage you to use it because it will, the big thing is it's compatible and works the same way that other AL documents work. I'll be out all of next week. But I'm going to try to get it into shape where it's a PR with just the features it has now, a pull request that someone else can review and make sure everything works. And then, I just want to make sure people who are working on the features around uploading files don't, have to go too far down a road where you're reinventing something that could exist. So that's a big update.
Yeah, a review screen for exhibit documents might also be, since it's got that difference.
But yeah, there are a ton of things that it could do, and I think we just need to get a small version out, and people can start using it.
For sure.
Yeah, so the goal being starting to build with this now so that the new features are easily compatible as it gets built out.
Hopefully, and I don't expect there to be too many growing pains, but like one thing that might happen is I have to figure out how you're going to trigger the background processing. We found that doing the OCR step took a while. So like we couldn't do that while people were waiting on the screen.
Okay.
There might, once I add that in, maybe you'll have to say, oh, you have to add this line of code to trigger it when you want to trigger it in your interview. But I think other than that kind of stuff, it will be really pretty straightforward to like grow with it as it gets built out more.
Neat. Okay, awesome. And just to call out for Anna and Catherine, you have lots of uploads in yours. So this will be something to pay attention to as you get to know yours. I'm just going to call that out for you now. And Regis, I know that we built one in yours, but it might be worth trying to do the same. I'm going to do the same for one I'm working on. And anyone who has uploads, but those are the ones I think of off the top of my head, just calling them out. All right, Bryce, do you have anything for us?
I don't think so. A lot of e-filing proxy server stuff. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Can I, Quentin, okay, so I've got a question about my config file on my server. Is that something that Bryce could answer while you're on vacation, or are you the only person?
I could probably handle it.
It has to do with what are they called? It's not permission. When you get the Google API, what's the thing that says credentials? It's a credentials thing. There's a whole big section credentials. It's really long, and I don't know if we need it in the config file. So I was going to ask if one of you could look at it for me and say, do I actually need this in my server config file?
Quentin would probably be faster and better at it, but
okay.
I'm at least pretty confident I could try to tackle it as well. So
okay.
I might be able to look at it today too. Which server is it on? Is it the product?
It's on the product. I think it's probably both on development and production, because I think I found the credential. I was trying to do too many things at once. So I had all these windows open, but I am, because I think I found the MLRI, Mass Legal Help APIs, which we want to put, we've got suffix in there now. I want to put the, ours in there. But I noticed there's this huge section on credentials in the config file, and I don't know if I need them. So that's what I was going to ask you about.
I'm looking at this. So it says automated DocAssemble test. So actually maybe Michelle would have some insight.
Oh, in the config file on the server? Oh,
So
My test should not have changed anything in the server config files. It doesn't have those permissions.
yeah. I think I don't remember where I copied them from.
Maybe at some point there was an attempt to do like the kind of automated tests that Jonathan set up.
So this credential would be for saving something to a Google Sheet. Because I think this is like from an example, Jonathan.
Oh, so
Yes.
maybe we don't need it in there.
It might not be used. You could
It doesn't
easily,
look very tidy. Oh, you take it out of the development, see if it works, and then, okay,
I think that would be safe to try it. And it's,
okay.
hold on. Is there anything? I think I'm using something like this, although it wouldn't have the same kind of name, wouldn't have test in it, for like a quick way to get people's information for MAID, like legal aid attorneys address with names pre-filled. I'm using that same design, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be on this server, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to take up I didn't want to take up this time. I just wanted to say, oh, you're going on vacation. Is this something that I need that you can help me with? And are you slammed today?
Yep, fair enough. Yeah, it's gonna be for one specific interview. And I don't know which one, but it's not like a general purpose thing.
Okay, so maybe we can look at it later if that's if you can fit it in. Otherwise, it's not. I mean, it's been there for a couple months, so it's not the worst thing in the world. We can look at it when you come back. I was just wanting to get our APIs in there. Oh, and then this other thing, David, I think we've got a couple of forms, subpoena forms. The courts changed their subpoena forms. So what used to be one form is now 2 forms. And we've just finished some new articles on it, and Katie's doing some samples. So we can add those. Should I just put them on that list to be, or is that Aubrey? Do I put them on what should I do with them?
I can take them and we can find the right place. Okay. Cool. Thank you. David, did you have anything? Close out.
I was just going to talk about the stuff we had talked about, which was that the couple forms coming down the line for last bit to look at. So there was sort of an open question if we wanted to if we thought that the translator request was something that would be beneficial to put as a standalone, or if it really only had value when we added things. And then also whether or not we wanted a final SME review of that. But those are actually sort of more questions than updates. So we can continue that conversation in the channels and so.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll throw that out more in the channel and have a conversation there, because
you probably just throw it in admin.
Okay. Sounds good. And yes, we have a few forms that are coming down the line, including the one that Catherine's been working on. So, and the translator request, as David just mentioned, and maybe the MTV housing later next week. That's maybe. But okay. All right. With that, it is 1 o'clock on the dot. Does anybody else have anything they wanted on the record?